My name is Idan. I'm from OTA Insight. I'm the account manager for Best Western Scandinavia. Monica asked me to spend about 10 to 12 minutes to show you a bit about us, about our rate chopper, and talk a bit about our relationship with um, Best Western as a group. So I'll be doing that. But before we jump into the tool, just wanted to give you some intro about the company. So OTA Insight was founded in 2012, and we started with our first product, which is the rate shopper. So still one of our basically the most successful, most popular tool, which allows you to see where you positioned regarding your rates compared to your comp set. Later on, we also developed our second tool called Parity Insight, which allows hotel groups to see how they're performing in terms of parity issues. Thirdly, we also introduced Revenue Insight. This is our BI solution that allows you to understand and maybe record your performance through the different KPIs, but also understand where you position, where you pacing behind or pacing ahead your performance. Um, and then after we had that tool, we realized that in the customer journey of our potential client or a revenue manager or a GM or any commercial team, there is actually an earlier stage, which is the market insight. Now, this market insight will allow you to see pre-booking data and help you understand how the demand is going to be like for the next 365 days in your market. And we use a lot of information in-house, but also third-party sources that we have, such as, for example, flight search data or alternative lodging information, pricing patterns, meta search channels, and we take all this information, try to understand how the demand is going to look like. And throughout the entire OTA Insight Suite, we also always have a benchmark component that allows you again to see the data, but also position yourself where you comparing to your market, to your competitors, and so forth. So let me just jump into the tool. So when you go into the tool, this is what you're going to see, and I'm just going to point a few things that I believe will be useful as general as a rate chopper, but also especially during the pandemic, we introduced a few features that I believe has some good impact. Uh, First of all, when you log into the app, this is the page you're going to see. So this is what we call our calendar view. On the left corner, you'll see the date. So I'm looking at December at the moment. But just so you know, you can also track your rates and your competitors up to a year in the future. Sorry. And you also, if you need, you can also look at historical data up to 3 years. So we store this information to 3 years. If you want to see how you did last December, 2 Decembers ago, you can also, of course, look at that and compare your rates versus your competitors. We show up three different types of rates. So we show lowest. Lowest will be any publicly lowest available rate that we can find on the OTA. We shop best flex as well. Anything again that is cheaper, however, with some sort of cancellation policy, any refundable rate. And also what we introduced about a month ago is the third-party rates, trying to identify rates that are coming from a third party on the different OTAs. Another interesting thing that you can see here, we also introduced primary and secondary comp sets. So now when you have a subscription with us, you can, of course, set your comp set with us when we do the installation. But just so you know, you can also set a secondary comp set, and you can easily change between them. Now, the idea behind that is the hotels could maybe understand where they positioned compared to different comp sets. So especially if you are selling to different segments, or if you have maybe a closer circle to put in the primary comp set, but maybe an outer circle on your secondary, it can be different segments that you're tracking. It can be different leisure or business guests. It's easy to really get a better understanding where you position when you are competing with different comp sets. And just I want to jump in here to the settings and show you how it easy to so when you click into the setting, you go into the competitors tab and you can see which hotel are primaries, which hotel are secondary. You can see where you are on the map and where the hotels positioned. Very easily, you can also add and replace hotels. So you can see here Easily to just click on one of the hotels and you can get the list of them, and you can add them to the list and take out. Each subscription can get up to 10 unique competitors, but again, this is unlimited in terms of how many times you can change it. So you can always set 10 hotels, change them, put other 10 hotels, so you can kind of grasp a bigger understanding of the market. Now we go into rates. As you can see, this is the calendar view. As I mentioned, you will see on every day of the month, you'll see a different color. Each color represents if you are cheaper, it will be in green. So you can see if you are cheaper than the comp set. If you are between 10% higher or lower, it would be in yellow. And if you are more than 10%, it will give you an opportunity to be in red. You can change the color scheme according to what you actually want to be notified. So for example, if you want to be notified only above 40%, you can very easily do that as well. And then of course, the idea is to focus you on which days I want to put my effort if I have limited resources, especially during the pandemic now. And when you can hover over one of those days, you will see again, I took, for example, I'm looking at December the 10th. I see I'm 31% more expensive than my comp set. I hover over that and you will see a list of all the competitors from the cheaper to the most expensive one, and you see exactly where you position. So here we can see, of course, we are at the bottom. But for example, if I look a day here that I'm 7% cheaper, you'll see somewhere in the middle as well. So very easy understanding of where you position. Now, let me jump into, for example, November and look at the day today. So I'm on the 27th of November. And if I click into this day, there's a very interesting feature that we have here called the rate evolution. The rate evolution will allows you to see, going back, how me and my competitors have shifted or changes our prices going into the arrival date. So the arrival date or the lead time is 0. This is the arrival date of today. And I can see my hotel here in the blue and how dynamic the market is comparing to my competitors. Now this graph, of course, is very dynamic, so you can play around, do that. But what it gives you an understanding of what is the pricing strategy of my competitors, and very quick way to see, for example, that this hotel is taking great advantage of the short booking window that we see during the pandemic now. So for example, here we can see where the hotel started about a month ago, increased their prices, and about 4 days before arrival date really almost cut in 40% their price before the arrival date. So we believe these insights are crucial during the pandemic especially. Another quick understanding of maybe where my competitors are positioned and their pricing patterns. You can track different types of channels. So for example, in this subscription, you can see the brand.com, which is your booking engine. You can see booking.com and hotels combined. But we also allow you to see all the channels together. And when you click on one of those, you can hover over one of those days, you can see exactly which are you offering a cheaper channel. And again, quite a very quick way to assess which prices are pushed to which channel from my competitors. So as you can see here as well, because I'm positioned at the bottom, my own hotel, I have the same price on booking my brand.com and hotels.com. But some hotels, for example, competitor 4 above me, has this cheap price only on the brand.com. So again, understanding maybe what prices are pushed to different channels. If you are positioned in a dynamic, let me just put it back into booking. If you are positioned in a very dynamic market, you also want to be able to see the most refreshed dates. So we also have this button called Live Shop button, and you can see I just pressed that before I started this recording and updated about 19 minutes ago. But once you click on it, it will take about a minute or even less than that to get all the most updated rates. Now we do that anyway for you every day for the next 90 or 120 days ahead. So every day you log into the app, you have the fresh dates. But if you are changing stuff or you logged in maybe afternoon and you want to get the most refresh rates, you can also just click here and you will see every day will be calculated and give you the most refresh dates. Why it does that also here, it's already been done. And we also have a support team that we have a 24-hour support team that always there. We answer within really few minutes. So if you need any help and you're stuck, no matter what time during the day, there's always a possibility to send us questions. Another interesting feature that might be very relevant now, I'm going to jump into our table view. So what we are looking at now is the calendar view. I'm going to jump into the table view. And again, you see here the same information where you see your own hotel and the rates of each competitor throughout the month. Anything that is green is something that is more expensive than my rate. Anything that's red is something cheaper than my rate. And also here you have the compare feature. So very quick way to get some insights in a minute. So one quick example, if I'm looking, for example, at lowest, I can easily compare it with best flex and understand within 1 second what are my competitors or myself, what is the basically the cancellation policy that we have. So here I can see I'm offering as a monthly median 10% discount between lowest to best flex on booking.com, but some of my competitor, for example, here is 7% or competitor 0 here 20%. And when I hover over that, I can also see exactly the price, and then what's the lowest, what's the best flex, the difference in percentage by actual numbers as well. Another quick view that you can also look at is how rates have changed maybe versus 3 days ago or 7 days ago. Now again, we are talking about very short booking window that we see during the pandemic. So you can also quickly see which one of my competitors have changed compared to 3 days ago. I see competitor 5 have changed quite a lot, where I actually increased my price. And again, when you hover over that, you can see exactly what I offered today, what I offered 3 days ago, and see the differences. So again, very quick way to understand the pricing strategies of my competitors. We also offer the possibility to look at mobile rates. So if you click here, anything that comes from a mobile phone or a tablet, and you can again compare it very fast to the desktop. So I'm comparing mobile rates into desktop rates, and very quickly to see which one of my competitors offers any promotion and which one offers a discount. For example, competitor 1 and 5, I'm not offering anything, but actually comparing competitor 2 and 6 offer maybe a more expensive rate. And when you hover over that, again, you can get the details. And last thing, maybe you can see here as well, when I go back to the desktop rates, you can also again compare yourself with same week last year. So again, if you want to see maybe how I did last Christmas, how am I doing now, or kind of understand where you position yourself compared to maybe when the market was slightly better. Another very interesting thing is the parity. As we say, parity, we know used to be a big issue before the pandemic. So you can also track your prices across different channels. So here's an example. I'm looking at November, so I can see only 4 days. But you can see your brand.com and how it's compared to Booking, Hotels.com, Agoda, as well as meta search channels as well. So very quick way to see. And the meta search channels that we are looking at are Google Hotel Finders, Trivago, Hotels Combined, and TripAdvisor. And when you hover over that, as you can see here, you can see exactly the channel and the source as well. When you click on it, it will take you directly to the page. So it's really good if you need to investigate a bit further in. And the last thing that I cannot stress how important it is to understand your ranking through this pandemic. And ranking, again, if you're unfamiliar, if when I'm looking your destination on the OTA, and on this one we have Booking, Expedia, and TripAdvisor. So Booking, for example, when I'm looking your destination at booking.com, it can be your city or your neighborhood, which number in line where you will be positioned when I'm scrolling down the different hotels. So here I can see my own hotel is position number 6, is out of 22 properties, and the hotel dropped 2 spots since last month. Then you can really understand where am I comparing to my competitors. So maybe you're quite a good place in the middle. And you can also look at it is in a graph. So I'm always the blue hotel. You can see again, maybe at the beginning of the pandemic, I was actually quite a lower ranking, and I managed through the pandemic to push it up. And we stress it now that the ranking is really important because, again, a lot of hotels maybe close their availability on the OTA, and the ranking has slightly dropped down. But again, when the demand will come, it's important to make your ranking high as much as you can, of course, because those will get the more bookings. You can also track next to that also your review score, so what's coming from guests who reviews you, and you can also track that as well on the platform. So these are of course more static. And you can track changes also by, so if you are applying any changes and if you are talking to your account managers maybe on the different OTAs, and you want to see a change, you can easily track it here. For example, on a weekly basis, and you can see each week if I maybe increase or decrease my ranking on the OTA. So this is really on the tip of the iceberg. Just before we finish, I just wanted also to talk about our packages that we have with Best Western. So we have a very good deal with Best Western. We have tier 1 or tier 2. Those are slightly two different packages. However, both of them are quite higher or maybe better than what we offer to our public non-Best Western hotels. And a few examples of that is the live shop. So in tier 1, you will be able to get 120 days versus 90 on tier 2 or our different packages. Once a week also we shop for 365 days. So also again, if you are checking for rates in the future beyond the 120 days, you also know you have once a week fresh dates. But again, you have the live shop button and you have unlimited options, so you can always track month. You can just go to the month and click the live shop, and within a few seconds you'll have the most refresh rates. So again, very attractive deal we have with Best Western. And especially now that we know Booking Rate Chopper that some of you might be on will no longer exist soon. If you wish to have a trial, we also offer to Best Western a free trial. So if you want to for about a month, please just reach out to Monica and the team, and they will link us together so we can set it up. There's absolutely no commitment at all. So if you just want to try it, see how you feel. But if it's not for you, we'll definitely be able just to keep it as a free trial. Thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Monica, and she will be able to link us together. Thank you.